So now we're going to go into the third layer, our visceral layer, what we would do for our organs. So you want to find your pubic bone, come right off the top of the pubic bone. Your hands are going to be about 2 inches wide apart. So this is my pubic bone right on top of that scar or above that scar. I'm going to find 2 inches apart. Now we have a lot of tissue that you're going to go through here. So you really just want to start with placing your hands and letting them sink into. Now, if they're not moving and they're on something hard, it's most likely your pubic bone and you need to move up a little bit to be able to sink in. So with being the 2 inches apart, you're going to be able to find your bladder in your abdominal cavity. You want that tissue to relax. Let it sink down, and you'll notice my hands are pretty much down into the system. They're going to be in a little bit of a cupping, and you want your hands just to gently check the tissue side to side. So with this one, we're just moving it left to right or even up at an angle where the tissue pressure is going this way, or you can do it where it's just going side to side this way. You'll feel a difference from side to side with that bladder mobility. Usually the bladder with C-sections is one of the areas that gets more of the restrictions because the bladder sits in front of that uterus. So the scar that cuts through the uterus, scar tissue doesn't have any boundaries. It'll attach onto anything. So with that bladder being so close to that scar, it usually decreases mobility of the bladder, and that's where we can have more increased urgency or frequency. So it's a good idea to work on the mobility of the bladder. So you might find while you're working on this daily that, man, it's usually tight when it goes to the left. You want to just pay attention to that. As your tissue mobility improves, a week from now, a couple nights from now, you might find that, wow, it feels about the same as that right side. And you're still treating it like the superficial and muscular layers where you're going to hold it for a little bit, let that turn into melted butter, let it lengthen, and then you might go test it out again. So all together, the tissue stuff is going to be that 3 to 5 minutes, superficial layer, muscular layer, deep organ layer, the visceral layer. Or if you're like me, you kind of get caught up in feeling tissue change and lengthen, and it's almost like it feels so good, like things can breathe again. So there are nights where I may end up doing this for 20 minutes, and that's okay too. And it feels better. You'll notice the scar will change as well.